Thank you so much for joining us on this part of the interview. Good morning, Kenya. It is, of course, it's always a pleasure to have you on board. Today, it's all about women on this first part. Remember, there's a very interesting quote that I heard recently, that a woman is like a tea bag. You never realize her power until you place her in hot water. How powerful are women, and what can we do to bring women up? And with me in studio, of course, I have two lovely ladies. I have Naomi Kirugu, and of course, I have Nana Wanjao. All of them are senior partners from Power Talks Women. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
And from what I just said, a woman is like a tea bag. I don't know, just to begin with you, Naomi, what defines a woman for you?
I think I define a woman based on her strength. I think women have, I like to call them the 7 innate skills of a woman, and some of them include multitasking, nurturing. So I believe women are powerful, women are strong, yeah. Women are the pillars of society, yeah. Wow,
thank you for that. And for you, Nana, of course, looking very elegant and
Thank
good
you.
this morning.
Thank you.
What defines a woman for you?
I like the fact that what you just said, that a woman is like a tea bag. Yeah. Until you put her in hot water, and then you get to see her strength. Because we are soft, we are nurturers, we are peacemakers, we are builders, not destroyers. That is our nature. Our softness is really our strength. Yet when we are put in positions where we have to toughen and make tough decisions, and change the world, and give birth and raise children and so on, then you see the real strength that comes from within. Forget the exterior, but it comes from within. So for me, as a woman, or the way I would describe a woman, is the combination of the softness and her inner, almost steel will to actually succeed when necessary.
Wow. Nana, you're one person who has a very great inspiratory story behind her. Just looking at the person that you've become and how you've grown over the years and what you're now doing for women out there. There's a lot to learn from even Power Talks as an organization and as a movement for women. We'll talk about that shortly, of course. But first of all, let's address this issue from the very beginning. And this one I want to throw to you, Naomi. If you were given a chance to solve some of the challenges that are affecting women out there, probably what are the key issues that you take as priority areas?
I think for me, what I advocate for, and what we talked about during our forum on Saturday, is involving women more and more in the decision-making process. What we are saying is we don't want women to make decisions that are decisions for women only, or issues for women only. We want them involved in all matter of government, business, corporate world. So if we involve women in the decision-making process, the needs for women are addressed in the process. So being decision-making process. Yeah.
That is what you think is key.
Yes.
That is important because one thing you mentioned was that if in case something like maternity issues, if a woman is not part of the board that is making decision concerning maternity, then how are the men going to understand what is required to make maternity services effective for women, which is very important also. And coming to you, Nana, what is that key area for you that you feel, if I was powerful, if I had all the resources and all the skills put together, then this specific issue is what I would address immediately?
Well, I see two areas. One is the girl child. I think it is extremely important, and I know we've done a lot of great work so far in empowering, the girl child and giving her equal opportunities and so on, but there's still a lot more. I was having a conversation with the head of UN Women, Kavuma, and of course there's now the question of what about the boy child? But she actually told me that if the boy child was here and the girl child was here, all the work we have done so far has only brought the girl child up to here. So the boy child is still way, way, way ahead. So yes, I would actually still focus on the girl child in order to get the woman to the places we want to get her in leadership. From the time we nurture her, from the time she's a little girl. And then I would look at the woman who is oppressed in some way. And we are actually working deliberately with the widows in the country to support them. There are some very horrendous stories that happen to widows where they are forced out of their marital homes once their husbands pass on, with their children, with all this cleansing that, you know, traditionally they have to go through. And if you reject that as a widow, then they're forced out of their homesteads. So 2 areas, the girl child and the oppressed woman. Those are the 2 areas that I would really like to address.
Those are the key issues for you. And of course, now you have a platform and a chance to do that. And we love what you do, which is something that I now want us to talk about. Power Talks Women. You know, last weekend, you launched the movement, and it was a very spectacular, you know, event, so to speak. I was honored to be part of the people who attended. And I would love us to understand more about this movement. You know, what is it about? What's the story behind it? And how is it coming in, the gap that in the challenges that women are facing? And this one is for you, Naomi. Tell me a bit about Power Talks Women.
So Power Talks Women actually evolved from our mother company called Power Talks. At Power Talks, what our mantra is transformation. We transform minds one at a time. And we birthed Power Talks Women specifically for the woman. And our mantra for Power Talks Women is to provide platforms, where we can bring transformation to the society through women. So that's our main agenda.
Wow. And how do you plan to go about this? Because of course she has touched on what you want to do. How do you plan now to achieve that?
Okay. We are about transforming one mind at a time, and through how actually we are going about this in 3 different areas. One, we are networking deliberately with a woman who is already successful, a woman who is already crossed the borders, so to speak, because our theme is branding beyond borders. And when we talk about borders, it's not just the physical borders, there's also the mental borders. So we are going out there, we are looking for a global woman who's branded herself beyond borders, successful not just within her local nation or city, but a woman whose brand is recognized globally. And we are bringing in these women here to talk to our women in Kenya, to share their failures, their successes, their challenges, how they balance their lives, so that you and I can be mentored and learn from these successful women. But there's also, when I speak like that, you can hear I'm talking probably about the corporate woman, where you are right now. We are telling you there could be more. Don't just be content with where you've reached. Where else can you go? Is it a mental border that is stopping you from moving on to the next level? Is it a physical border that we can encourage you to cross? You are successful in Kenya, but what about Uganda? What about Tanzania? What about West Africa, South Africa? What about the globe? So through these networks we are creating, we encourage now the conversations, global conversations, to start taking place, so that there is now opportunity for enterprises, businesses, and relationships to be built. But we are also looking at the woman at the county level. There's a woman there who's already successful at that level. She says, I'm the largest supplier of grain. I've got a corner shop on this street. My products are in the shop. And we are telling her, we are going to open this network to the next county level. What about the county level next to the county next to you? You can cross that border and start your business across that. So it does not have, you don't have to just be successful in this county, be successful
in another
across the
county,
counties.
You know, branding beyond
Brand
borders.
beyond borders.
So it's about you're empowered, yes, you can do something for yourself, but don't settle for less.
Don't settle for less.
There's so much you can do beyond.
Yes, and then of course I already talked about the widow.
Yeah.
Then we support the widow as well, in the sense that restoring dignity at that level, because the widow we are actually supporting is a widow who's lost her dignity and identity. So Power Women comes in and restores dignity by giving her the basics first: shelter, clothing, something to start off with. Then we train her so that she now becomes self-sustaining. What can she do? Can she sew? Can she go into agriculture? What can she do? But we equip her through training and counseling for her to be self-sustaining.
Wow.
Yeah.
Self-sustaining. There's something I wanted to ask concerning how the woman now identifies what she has. But before that, probably when you were talking, you mentioned, you know, we link them with successful women. You know, we learn from these successful women. But Nana, you're not. For me, you're not in that category. You are among the successful women that we look up to, you know. And for now, I just want you to share with us some of the challenges for you as one of the people who've, you know, taken steps at it. What are some of the hiccups that you've had to experience in your journey to empowering yourself? Yes.
I will answer that, but I think what you've said is exactly what we are out to do. Successful women like me must mentor another generation that is trying to come to where I am. That's exactly what we want to do. You are empowered, I am empowered. Let's empower other women so that we rise together. That's exactly what we want to do. In terms of challenges, I have had I have now would say have crossed borders, physical borders, in terms of who I am. But before crossing physical borders, I have had to cross my own mental borders. Things that I felt I could not do. Like, I'll give you an example. For the longest time, I had this thing in my head that I could not speak. At least not speak to anybody who was worth sitting down and listening to me. I had this thing that I could not articulate whatever I wanted to pass across the message. That was a mental border. True. I had to actually get over that and tell myself, what do you mean? Every time I speak, people tell me, oh my gosh, you were so inspiring. So it was a mental border, it was not the truth. But that's what I'm saying, I had to cross my own mental borders before I could, what you're seeing now as a successful lady, I had to go through all that. Yeah.
And for you, Naomi, I know it's not just you woke up and, you know, you find yourself feeling so high-spirited and feeling like you got it. You know, there has to be certain moments in your life that you felt there are things you couldn't do and you had to deal with them.
My main challenge was almost close to what Nana is saying, my mental borders, but mine was believing in myself. You know what, this is you, Naomi, and you can do this. Yeah, getting over that fact, because a lot of the times you're well educated or well exposed, and people tell you, you know what, I believe in you, you can do this. But when you go to bed at night, and I think it's a woman thing, you know, you based on how you are raised up or your culture, you find that there's this research, let me just back it up with some research. There's this research that was done that 90% of women apply for jobs only if they are 100% qualified. But men apply when they are 60% qualified, yeah? Meaning, for a woman, you feel that you have to have backup, yeah? And all this, you know what, I can do it, I'm 90% qualified, so that you try. While men will try even if they are not yet there. So I think it's just that believing in yourself and getting over the fact that you can do it, yeah, that for me has been a challenge.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's now not even showing, you know. Nobody even knows that you'd go through such.
But it doesn't stop. I think growth, personal growth, is a continuous thing. Every day, the launch on Saturday, for example, because it's just 2 days ago, even as strong and as successful as I appear to be, I still have had doubts that we can actually pull this off.
Really?
Imagine. But it is a constant. I wake up in the morning, I call my mentors, I call my close friends, I share my doubts and my fears, and they call on these anchors. They remind me of the anchors, things that I've done before successfully. And they remind me of that. And they tell me, you did it then, you can do it again. So it's so important that we have people in our lives that will basically help us to recall our anchors, the things we have succeeded at, the challenges we faced and conquered. We need those people, and I need them every day, because every day I have to.
The mentor need mentors.
Yes, mentors need mentors. If you're going anywhere in life, you must have a mentor. If you're going anywhere, you must have a mentor.
Wow.
So for me, mentors are actually the people I call upon almost on a daily basis, just to get me back into the, yes, I can do this. It's a continuous process.
A continuous process, indeed. And you're talking about the launch on Saturday. One of the speakers, UN Women County Director, Zabib Kavuma, said something very important, very crucial about, you know, why settle for less when you can stand out. I've just paraphrased it, but that I captured that. And standing out, you have to have something unique, you know, for you to stand out, right? And this question I would like to throw to Naomi. How can a woman identify that thing in her that will make her stand out, you know, make her unique? Like, this is what I can do. Let me go out there and do it.
I would say, let me give an example with how I found my life purpose. Like, what on earth was I born to do? And it's, the thing is, it's not something that is easy, and I don't think it's something that you achieve in one day. But there are things that can help you do that. Like, my personal journey of finding my life purpose took months. And one thing that helped me in particular is identifying, ever since you were a child, what are those things that you really looked up to, or people you looked up to. Yeah, like for me, one was Wangari Maathai. So I took pictures of things I always liked as a child and pasted them and put them on the wall. Then the next thing I did, I looked at the things that I'm most critical about, because you find out that, and this is through reading, yeah, when you read and look at how other people found their life purpose, I found that look at what you are most critical about, because most of the time you are put on this earth to fix those things. Yeah. So I went and I did that, and through that it's a journey, like I say, and I don't think it ends, because you get there and then you keep refining, you know what, I can do this, yeah. So I don't think there is an end goal to your purpose, but there is a starting point. Yeah.
You just identify one thing that you're interested in, and the most things that you're critical about.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And coming to you, Nana, you wear many hats, of course. So many hats, a lot of things that you have done. But one that stands out for us today is the Power Talks Women. You know, how are you sure, what makes you so sure that this is your purpose, this is what you want to get your hands on?
I tell people that I experience the presence of God in service. For me, I cannot tell you the day and the hour I discovered my purpose in service. It is something that I do, and I do with such great joy. And it dawned on me, this is my purpose. And I'm lucky that through being a Rotarian, because now I'm the president of Rotary Club of Nairobi East, service has been at the center of my life. Immediately I could link Power Talks Women with service. That became what exactly I want to do in Power Talks Women. I had to link it with something that is really at the core of who I am, which is service. And when you look at Power Talks Women, when we talk of empowering the woman, whether it's the woman at the corporate level to rise to another level, or whether it is the woman on the ground, like the widows we are supporting, giving her dignity, restoring her dignity, for me, that service makes Power Talks Women worth it. That's now for me, when you say, how did I get into Partox Women and how did it become, you know, my purpose? It's because of service. Partox Women has got a service angle for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
What drives you, Nana? What motivates you?
My family, my children. For the longest time, in fact, until recently, people ask me, have you made it? Do you think you have reached? And it has always been, no, you never reach. I have not reached, I've just started. But let me tell you, 3 days ago, I work from home. That's a choice I make so that I'm close to my children all the time. I was doing some work in my office, and my son, they're on holiday, was watching something on television, and he came running into my office and said, Mom, I've just watched something on television that has confirmed you are the best mom in the world.
How sweet.
Now, let me tell you, after that statement, I told myself, I have made it. There's nothing else in the world you can give me beyond that achievement of my son calling me the best mom in the world.
Wow.
So I'm trying to recall where I came from with this. What was the question you asked?
What drives you?
What drives me? Yes. So it is my family. Everything that I do evolves around my family. I want my sons, I have 2 boys, Vante and Vidre. I want my sons to grow up knowing that they have a strong mother. That, you know, we are now saying, oh, what about the boy child? We have left the boy child. No. I want my sons to grow up knowing that women should be respected. Women can do this. When they marry, when they start dating, I want them to date strong women, strong girls. Girls with a vision and a purpose and a drive.
Who understand themselves.
Yes,
and what
so that they are now become partners, partnership in the current age. So what drives me really is my family.
Wow, partnership, something you just mentioned, partnership. This brings me to the point, you know, when we talk about women empowerment, women become so strong and fierce, you know, and they know what they want and they know their rights, they push for their rights. Sometimes this is taken well, but sometimes the other gender tends to, like, you know, feel threatened by what women are doing. I don't know what advice you have, Naomi, concerning the balance that needs to be there in terms of as we're empowering ourselves as women. How do men come in to this journey of empowerment so that we all work together as partners, like Nana said?
This discussion was there on Saturday at our forum, and I remember we involved the audience also about what is submission. Let's narrow it down to submission. And different people have different perception about what submission is. And I remember one of our keynote speakers, Tara Deratoye, said that for her, submission is identifying what works for her husband as respect, because respect means different things to different people. For her, it is getting permission. She gave this example that her PA has to call her husband if she's flying out of the country and ask the husband, is it fine if she goes on this and this date? So to her, that is submission, that is respect. To someone else, that might not work, another thing might work. To some, it's staying at home, to some. So I think it's the point I'm getting across is it has to come from a place of respect. Once there is respect, there is understanding, and then there's submission. So that to me is that.
Wow, probably there's something you'd wish to add on
Yes, I think partnership is crucial. And at a personal level, I would not be where I am without the support of my husband. 100%. He's my #1 supporter. To a point of personally financing my ventures, those that succeed and many that fail. Trust me, many have failed. But he's my #1 supporter to the point of financing, to the point of when I am busy running around in my service, doing my service work, he will happily stay with the kids, you know. Because without the support of my husband, really, and as I already told you, my family is my core, is the core, it sits at the center of my life. Without his support, I would never be able to do anything. So partnership for me and the respect I have for him, I share my ideas, he listens, sometimes he doesn't even understand, but he believes in me. He believes in my passion and my energy and my drive. And with that comes his support, complete 100% support. And through him, I find even my kids are very supportive because he supports me. They look at how he supports me and they buy into the whole arrangement.
So it's really possible to bring the man on board. You know, you don't need to walk alone to become empowered. You know,
I think we must bring him. We are partners. We are two. We must. I think we must. Where I come from, where I am, is I must bring him on board.
Yeah.
Otherwise, then we are constantly challenging each other. It becomes, you know, competition.
Yes.
But if I bring him on board, then we are together. He encourages me. He supports me. He carries me along. I carry him along. So for me, it's not even something. It's not a debate. It's just that I have to bring him on board.
The reason why we're having this conversation is because, you know, sometimes the competition that you talked about, you know, when you're doing it your way without acknowledging the power of the man and the authority that he has, then he's going to have a problem with what you're trying to do because you're not appreciating who he is in your life. But you mentioned about partnership and the need to have respect, then that would work because they would be part of your course as you're part of their course, you know. Yes. Another issue that also comes as an effect, you know, of this empowerment. When you go out there, when you start doing things, you know, your schedule becomes so tight. You have so many people looking up to you, so many people you have to mentor. Like, I believe this is something I'm describing or relating to. You know, you wake up every morning, you have so many calls, so many emails, so many conferences to attend. This can get you carried away, you know, and you can find yourself always constantly on the move, traveling from one country to the other, going to give talks from one conference to the other. Then family lags behind. For you, how have you managed to balance in between what you do for the society and what you do for your family?
I do what we call work-life integration, not balance, integration.
Integration, wow. Okay.
By that I mean I carry my family anywhere and everywhere I can, including travel. If there is a way I can incorporate my husband into what I am doing, I will definitely do it. And it's become part of who we are as a family. We go to, like, most likely when we are doing like the widows, we are doing housing for them. We go on site to start the construction. You will find my sons in that part of the construction, part and parcel of it. So it's not been a balance, it's been integration. I work from home deliberately so that I am able to run my home when I'm in the house, in the office. I'm able to call the nanny, give an instruction here and there. I'm able to hear my children playing, fighting, laughing, knowing what they are watching, what are they doing. My husband is able to come home and find me. So things like that have been really integration, deliberate integration into what I do. Yeah.
What about, you know, for somebody who cannot, you know, they're not in a position to work from home. They just have to, maybe they're employed, they have to go to the office, you know.
Like myself.
Yes. How does that work out? Because
I don't have the leisure of working from home, but I do work from home sometimes. And for me, the thing is having time for myself, because I realized as a woman, you wear many hats. Like, I am a mother, I am a wife, I am a young mother, I am a wife, I have other family, I have work, I have KBC. You have, you have to deliberately put time for me. I deliberately put time for me. You know what? This Sunday is now Miss Sunday. This is what I'm going to do. I take time to read and really develop myself, because if I realize if I don't put in myself and I'm giving, I'm left with nothing, and you feel drained, you feel overwhelmed, your baby is crying, you feel like you want to put him up on OLX or crazy things. So you have to deliberately take time for yourself, and it's something that is very hard for women to do, but it's something that I believe should be done.
Should be done.
Yeah.
Deliberate.
Yeah. Yes, you have to be
deliberately
deliberate.
create time.
And I think because when you defined your priorities, like my priorities family, every year my husband and I have to take 4 weeks off on holiday. It's part of the calendar of the year. So no matter how many conferences are in the year, how many KBCs are happening, there is a slot in the year, 4 weeks dedicated to Mr. Wanjao.
Wow.
Away from anything and everything, including children.
You know,
Yeah.
are you at home? Are you taking notes?
Including children.
Because we talk about empowerment. It's a good thing. But when it comes and it's there, people don't know how to handle it.
Yes.
You know, you get carried away and you're just out there going and like leaders, members of parliament, you know, women representatives. These are people who suffer challenges in balance of time, you know. You just don't know what to do with your time. You have so much to do in so little time. And I think it's a crucial thing that you're talking about. And let's talk about the power of sacrifice. Nana, you allow me to say this because somebody would really, really want to learn from that. 15 years of your life, you stayed out of employment, you know, and this was family time. Share with us a bit about that, Nana.
12 years, actually.
12 years, wow.
I don't look at it as a sacrifice. And I know it worked for me. It will probably not work for everybody. I was in the corporate world, and when we were ready to have babies, I decided when the babies arrive, it's time for me to raise my children. And therefore, I made a choice to get out of corporate into becoming a working stay-home mom. So we went into real estate because that way I could manage, I could still have an extra income, manage the real estate business from home while I'm home. So when you say sacrifice, for me, it's not a sacrifice at all. I told you. Somebody asks me now, in life, Nana, have you made it? For the first time, I will say, yes, I have made it. Based on what my son shared with me a few days ago. Because for me, all my life, I think I have lived just to hear that statement. And once I heard it, I have made it.
Wow.
So it's not a sacrifice. And I think when you make conscious choices of what's important to you, for me, family is important to me. So giving up corporate to stay home and raise my kids is not a sacrifice at all. It was a conscious choice that I made. What is a sacrifice is probably when I have to travel for a week away from the kids. And I'm calling in the morning to find out if the nanny has woken up, breakfast is on the table, kids have left on time, why is the driver not, you know, now I feel that is sacrifice because I've gone away and I've left my kids and, you know, somebody else is running my home. I feel that going away is the sacrifice, not the 12 years.
That for you was something you wanted to do.
Yes.
Wow, that's really an eye-opener right there. Thank you for sharing with us. As we're just about to come to a close, let's go back to Power Talk Women, you know. What benefits, Naomi, should a woman look up to with this movement?
So for Power Talks Women, like Nana mentioned, we have 3 areas of focus. The first one is training. So we train and equip the empowered woman or the upcoming young woman through mentorship. So we train, should I call it capacity building? Yeah, yes. we do training. That's one. Yeah, deliberately and specifically for women. And then the second one is our CSR angle, which is supporting the foundation that we have for widows. And then the third one, and most importantly, is networking. So we hold events around the globe. Yeah, we started with Kenya, but we are looking to have them around the world. Yeah, we don't have borders in our
branding beyond borders.
Yeah, so maybe the next one will be Mauritius or something. Yeah. So networking,
and we look forward to that.
Networking and opening up. Yeah.
So Nana, just how can one be part of this initiative? Just as something you leave us with, because somebody would want to know, how do I be part of this? How do I take part?
Well, through partnerships is for one. For now, our partner is the Rona Foundation that looks for widows around the country. Also, we have partnered with Building Kenya, who are actually part of the solution to the widows' problems. So through partnership, you can partner with us. Through volunteers, you know, on Saturday we had a lot of young people and empowered women asking, how do we join you so that together we can raise the next empowered woman? So you can volunteer to join us. We've got a lot of work, we've got a lot of trainings that are lined up. We talk about branding beyond borders. We have a workshop coming up on Branding 101. Really, before we can brand you beyond borders, let us teach you first how you become a brand on your own capacity so that you can then cross borders. We have trainings like the one Anina is conducting. It's called...
Yes, using the 7 innate feminine skills to sell yourself better. Yeah.
So you can just look out for what is coming in Power Talks Women. Go on our Facebook page, follow us on Twitter. Twitter handle is She Power Talks.
Okay,
Yes,
She Power
She
Talks.
Power
Thank you so
Talks.
much for creating time to come and talk to us. Of course, we could have this conversation all day, but because of time. Thank you so much.
Thank
and
you
we look
so
forward
much.
to having you again.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for watching. Keep it. Good morning, Kenya. There's more to come. Eye on Politics is on the way. My name is Safina Ching. Don't go away.